Is living with your parents at an older age a bad thing? When I say an older age, I'm just talking about your 20s. A lot of people, they seem to feel really embarrassed, or at least frustrated, and there's this kind of shame and guilt, at least in the Western sort of hemisphere of the world, where there's a little bit of a culture in terms of you have to live by yourself and start your own life at a pretty early age. And then it obviously promotes this kind of idea that everyone else is pretty much, building their career, buying a home. Maybe not nowadays because flipping out economy, starting families, and then there might be you stuck in the same place that you kind of grew up. But is this really something that you should consider yourself being a failure? Is it really a failure of yourself to really live at home? Or should we start to kind of challenge this idea of success, and does it mean independence means that you're successful? And it's a tricky subject because when you're in your 20s, right, there's a lot that goes on. You're transitioning from being a teenager into full-on adulthood. You got so many key events that happens during this time in your life. And part of that is living at home for a lot of us. Obviously, I guess society has this expectation where, by 25 or whatever, you're supposed to be independent, thriving, moving up in life, moving up in the corporate ladder. And if you're not, then you're falling behind. And there's this huge stigma of living at home. And I mean, I guess the media doesn't really help as well, because look at every single movie or TV show that you watch. Everyone is living on their own. And I guess maybe for the last couple of generations, it was like that. But I think now more people are just living at home just because of the way that the world is. There's huge shifts that just happen, so you can't expect things to be the exact same as what they was before. So before I continue, it's not a you problem, okay? I mean, it could be if you're living according to your potential, I suppose, but it's more so a generational shift because, again, housing costs are crazy high. You've got most people having student debt and an entirely changing job market. So in scenarios like this, why do we punish ourselves? Because it could just be the smartest choice. And if in the case that we sort of feel successful, if we're more independent, is that truly ourselves? Are we truly happy just living by ourselves? Because if we flip the script, instead of seeing, I guess, living at home as a setback, some, and I know in a lot of cultures, it's actually promoted quite a lot. So it could be a blessing in disguise, because again, you've obviously got more financial stability. You've got more for a future home, maybe a dream house that you want to have, rather than renting or any other sort of way that you would kind of force yourself to live out. Maybe you want to start a business or pay off your debt, be debt free, something extremely rare in this day and age. Whilst the people who you might have considered successful because they're living by themselves don't know what they got going on. They might be struggling to afford rent or paying off their mortgage or having any forms of a financial safety net, any savings. I'm not saying it's not possible, but conditions are completely different now. And I mean, obviously you've got the sort of other benefits, like living at home gives you, a chance to really spend time with your family. If you've got a good family, cherish it. A lot of times people in good families, their kids sort of take it for granted. But when you kind of grow up, you start to realize that there's deeper and meaningful relationships that you can have with your family, depending on, who you are. Maybe some of you might not have that, some of you might have that. And those moments don't last forever because it gives you time to appreciate them and to spend, again, more time with them, more quality time. And it's probably really good for your mental health because you're talking to people and you're having, again, more deep and fulfilling relationships rather than potentially isolating yourself a lot more. And I think also when you're kind of in this sort of space, there's not a sort of constant need for independence. So rather than constantly chasing that, you have more time, you have more space to kind of reflect on what you really want to do with your life. You're not constantly forced in this mindset of you have to do this and that. And I guess people could take that in different kind of ways because it could be an excuse for laziness. But at the same time, it could also be a space to sort of figure yourself out figure out what you want to do on this planet, right? And then you can kind of find clarity within that. But it depends on the person, it really does, because some people, they just use that time, just doom scroll all day. They just treat themselves with so much disrespect because they're not looking after themselves. And to be honest, the answer really does depend on who you are. If you're someone that is trying to build something great, then why not? You know, greatness takes work, and if you could stack any card in your favor, why not do it towards that, right? But if you're someone who, you know, you crave that independence, then yeah, sure. Figure it out, work harder, because success is gonna mean so many different things to everyone, right? Deep down inside. Not what, you know, what everyone else is sort of saying to you. Because for others it can be a passion. For some it could be even just their relationships and friends. Some people just like peace. They don't really want much. They live a pretty frugal life. They just chill out, you know, just vibing. So it depends on what your version of success is going to be, whether or not that should bring any shame to you. It shouldn't bring any shame to you if you are in that kind of situation, but if you want to change it, it's definitely possible. There's no timeline for it, unless again you've got bills to pay, which everyone does, so a little bit of a timeline here. But in terms of, you know, fighting for your independence, so to say, people do it at different ages. Alright, success is more of a journey than a destination, of course, so whatever that means to you, especially in an economic climate like it is right now, I would say don't feel any shame, because shame isn't going to move you forward. And in order to do anything, even if it means you wanting to live by yourself, then those kind of feelings are not going to promote any kind of positive interaction with yourself, and therefore not have any positive action to follow suit. So remember, work hard at what it is that you want to do, and be patient with yourself a little bit, but make sure you work hard, because a lot of people don't. Anyway, peace and blessings be to you all. A little bit of a different video today. Yeah, let me know what you think. See ya.